Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele with my amazing, super spiffy co-host with a new
Ooh.
haircut, Jojo. How are you, Jojo?
You noticed your attention
I,
to detail.
I did notice. It looks
Like,
gorgeous.
thank
You
you,
look
thank you.
very
Happy
handsome.
Happy April Fools. Happy new month. Spring is arriving, though we just had a snowfall here, so
Yeah, it was flurrying, so I'm like, it looked like it was December outside, but it might not
yeah.
be cold. It might be like 0 degrees in Canadian terms.
Yeah, I think it's 2. Ooh.
But two's nice. Two's
Two's
fresh.
nice. Yeah. Two is the
Nice.
scarf, gloves, cozy.
Yeah, like a jacket, but not a winter jacket. So I don't
Mm,
mind 2 degrees.
me
Anything
too.
above zero, actually anything to like -5 is like not too bad,
Yeah. Can handle it.
in my opinion. But we're not here to talk about the weather, unless we're talking about the weather inside the Big Brother Canada 10 house.
Talk
Bum
about
bum
summer.
bum.
Hello.
Jojo.
Yeah.
That was quick. That was
Okay.
very quick. So we had what the announcer says in this house: safety is an illusion. So we are going to have a safety chain double eviction episode. So you are obviously familiar with sequester and
Yeah.
the safety chain twist, and they just did the Mon Juan twist in Celebrity Big Brother that just aired. What were your thoughts on how this was going to go down?
I was very excited. I think it's a new, fun way to do a double eviction. It keeps people on their toes. I felt like for Celeb Big Bro, it was a cool concept. I enjoyed it, but it didn't mess up people's games as much as it might have done last night. I think people had to show their cards, and I love when you're forced to show your cards. And we also played the safety chain game once in that tagged game with Phil, which I thought was really fun. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, we have some sequester, like Audrey, contestant from Big Brother 17. She created this online game, big phenomenon in 2020, and a lot of Big Brother players, Canadian and American, actually played together, which was really exciting. You can find that on YouTube still, I think. But the safety chain is always such an interesting um, round of gameplay because if you have a good social game, you're probably going to be fine when it comes down to it. And I think it really shows people that don't have the strongest social games.
Oh, hold on. Okay, hi Hamza. Hamza is in the house. Hamza says, "Have I seen the horrible interview Jess did?" No, I haven't. With Arisa or with somebody else?
ET Canada,
It
I
was
heard about it.
horrible. Should I try
Well,
to find it?
I heard that the person interviewing Jess mentioned that all of Canada was thinking that Herman and Moose were bullying her or bullying them during their HOH ceremony, which I thought was ridiculous. I'm like, let's not talk about bullying in Big Brother. Like, let's be real here. No one was bullied. Um, yes, Hamza, it was with ET Canada, and there's a lot of backlash right now on on Twitter, especially people looking for that interviewer's name to let them know. Oh, they deleted it on Twitter. Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. Whoa, okay. So keep talking while I see if I can try to find
Yeah,
this.
see if you can find it. I didn't watch the entire interview. I have no interest in really watching an interview with with anyone anyone that was evicted last night. Unfortunately, it was a sad episode in my opinion, um, but really exciting. Great gameplay from some, really bad gameplay from others. And what else could we ask for, really, in a double eviction, especially?
I'm furious. Like they said him dancing on the block was bullying. This person has absolutely no idea what Big Brother is all about. They don't know what the show is about. They don't know what doing things for TV is about. Like what about Todrick coming down with like with the crown and and the singing and the ha, 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 like
Oh, don't
that
remind
is
me.
that I mean, I guess he was the head of household, but like the theatrics is what we're asking for. And I'm sure that
Yeah.
you know, he's expected to be doing these things because he was cast, because he was always going to be the fun guy. When he won Head of Household the first time, he danced. Like every time he's always been doing that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of character for him. And I think it's really, really terrible journalism if they're putting on this. Oh my God, I hope it's not like the guy I know that I used to work with. Is it
it's a woman.
Bustamante? It's a woman. Okay. And it's not
Yeah.
Keisha Chantele or whatever. Or
I hope
can't
not.
remember her name.
We'll save Keisha Chantele. Keep the trolls away from Keisha.
I'm mad though. This is maddening. And they said it was disrespectful to the ceremony. It's not the fucking Oscars. Like get out of here. Like the Oscars, I think that was disrespectful to the Oscars. Yeah. And people are like, no, it was justified. He was supposed to be able to do that, whatever. Okay, but there's two sides of that whole issue, and we don't need to go into that. But it's a game show.
Yeah.
It's a game show. And someone's deciding to steal away your chance at winning the game because they don't like you and you guys don't get along. And you can't be happy and like make light of the fact that they are trying to take away your opportunity. Like, shut up.
I think like you can be annoyed as much as you want. Jess had every right to be annoyed, but
Jess.
like,
oh my God, Jess.
Exactly.
Sorry, like I was rooting for Jess preseason. I think they were my number one draft pick in a couple of drafts that I did. And they thoroughly disappointed me as a fan, someone that was a fan. I thought it was just because they were older, wasn't necessarily able to connect with the people in this particular house. So I was giving them the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time. But that comment, thinking that it's disrespectful, I'm like, you are not the type of fan that I am, and I don't want you to be speaking for me, because as a fan, I loved it.
But I do think that Jess definitely knows that they disappointed the superfans because they played their HOH really, really poorly, unless they wanted Tanisha out all along, which I don't think they did.
I really don't think. I don't really think that, and it's very obviously the labels.
Yeah, I don't agree actually at all. I think Hamza, sorry, it was Hamza. I think Herman has been incredibly respectful of Jess's pronouns and when people are misgendering them and the women in the house in general. Plenty of other male players in the house have toxic masculinity coursing through their veins. I would not say Herman is one of them, or Moose. I don't think either one of them have truly been bullies in this house. So
Twitter was mad and had over 200 quotes and tweets and under 20 likes. Oh boy. And the interviewer said, I'm speaking for all of Canada right now, that the bullying, and we are all on your side. Clearly this person is going to get roasted.
Yeah.
Jojo, I heard you're having a baby. April Fools.
Oh, it's an alien.
Like, you can't speak for all of Canada. Well, do you know what? Like, if she's speaking for any of Canada, that's herself, because both Jojo and I are in Canada and we do not agree. And the only person that might agree maybe would be Jonathan, because Jonathan does not like Hamza.
Herman, you mean?
Sorry, not you, Hamza. Yeah. Herman, the name. I was reading it and I was thinking Herman.
Like I'm not really rooting for Herman, but I don't dislike him at all. But also Hamza, I think we keep saying Hamza because yesterday Hamza had all the tea on the double eviction.
Yes, I know.
On Twitter, so it was just constant Hamza.
And we're not trying to do a microaggression like Jess was doing with Tanisha. Sorry.
No.
Okay, so Herman is a very nice guy. So is Moose. So them being called bullies by ET Canada is very sick. Yeah, it is. I think that to make, maybe they felt that those actions could be was bullying like, but to call people bullies for the fact that they sat on the block in a way that Jess didn't like she needs to they need to F off. Yeah. Like, actually. Everyone's asking for her name. Oh, okay. I'm going to find it. I'll find it. I'm also in Canada and don't disagree. Hamza, where are you? Are you in Tirana like us?
Tirana.
Oh, it's okay. We have the same name. Sorry. Just kidding. Let us know where you are. I'm still trying to find this interview because, like, I want to be pissed. Okay, so Jess, entertainment tonight.
ET Canada.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I mean,
Is it
overall,
the extended interview? Do you think?
I watched like a 30-second, maybe a minute clip.
An hour ago? Oh, it is. Okay, it's probably this. I have to just watch it right now because I'm pissed. Pissed. Okay.
Ready for it. Are you ready for it? Boom, boom, boom.
Let me know if you can hear it when I get it going.
Okay.
Say CV.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean, come on.
It's big. You can see it. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to leave it small just in case.
Yeah.
And how are you really feeling?
I'm fine. I did my best. I played hard and I just didn't have enough friends. So here I am with my, my ET Canada friends. Let's rock on.
Do you know how heartbreaking that was, though, watching you have these moments where it just felt like we felt that you were alone because you were voicing it so much? How did you get through that? And we love you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I think just perseverance. I've had those moments in my life in the past. I even had shared that with the cast when we had a mental health night with Kyle. I've always been the quirky weirdo, so even though people make some space for me, it doesn't mean that they save a seat for me at the table. So I know that I'm loved by many people back at home. Hopefully there's a few people watching that love me too. And really in that game, yes, you have to rely on people, but you mostly need to rely on yourself. And I learned that week 1 when I was put on the block.
When you put up Herman and Moose, what they did kind of seemed like bullying from the outside looking in. It wasn't cute. It wasn't funny. None of us laughed, really.
I laughed hard.
All of Canada
Hold on. I laughed hard. I was like, yes, like, go sit on go dance to the block. Go dance to the block. Like, what are you supposed to be crying and like begging them to like to relieve them of going on the block? Like, get out of here.
Great, I love it.
How did you deal with that with such like respect? You didn't go off. If I were in that situation, I would have popped off.
Yeah, honestly, I had already learned the lesson earlier in the day. I don't know why, but I offered them respect by letting them both know that they were going up. In hindsight, I obviously showed them that respect. They respected me for 30 days straight, throwing my name out to everyone that they could.
Shut up.
So in hindsight, I may have not, but I have no regrets. I think that they both are very performative in the house. They like being attention grabbing and doing silly things. And for me, as a super fan of the game, like I have a lot of respect for every single ceremony. So
respect that one and how they chose
getting
to
in there
act
15 minutes.
there.
And I just stood there letting them do their shenanigans as per usual.
Why am I so angry? Jojo.
Deep breath.
Maddening.
Deep breath.
Maddening because I think that it's actually harmful, this whole conversation. Like it's to me, it looks like Black people are not allowed to have any sort of emotional reaction to what a white person does to them within this particular game because their response is not liked by this particular white person. It's considered bullying. I think that it's definitely a microaggression for anybody to be accusing of somebody dancing to the block and making a shocked face to be considered bullying. They do not have any power in this particular situation. So how is it bullying? They're not the oppressors in this situation. So how is it bullying? They're reacting to their master putting them to the block, and they're not doing it in a way that they feel is docile enough, and it's like putting the whip down, and they're not behaving the way that they want them to behave. I think it's actually disgusting and appalling that this interviewer allowed it to take this turn.
Yeah, Jess has been playing the victim all throughout their HOH. From the moment that the feeds turned back on and we found out Jess was HOH, they've been playing the victim the entire time. Boo-hoo, poor me, tears, tears, tears. When you're HOH, your goal is to either get out your target, make friends, and make a plan for the following week.
Absolutely.
People
Set yourself up.
We have a lot of HOHs that have come off in really piss poor positions after completing their HOH. The only two players that have really had a clean game since has been Gino and Herman. So I think Jess could have every right to feel the way that they feel whenever about anything, but at the same time, we saw it as soon as that ceremony was finished, all they did was complain about it. They didn't keep it to themselves. They thought it was disrespectful, and if they think it's bullying, I think using the word bully is really harmful in general, unless you're actually being bullied, and Jess wasn't. It was a ceremony. They have every right to react the way that they want to react.
Absolutely.
And they being the boys nominated.
And I'm sure that the producers want them to make the ceremonies interesting to a certain degree.
Yeah, of course.
Like they don't want it to be boring. It's a TV show still.
Yeah, if you nominate me, I'm gonna tell you to F off. Like
I would be giving them the fingers. Absolutely. Middle fingers for sure.
Yeah. Blur all this out. Like get ready for a global. These are just fingers up. There you go, HOH.
Sorry, you can't nominate people and expect them to be nice to you.
No, God, no. Or to lose allies.
If they are, fine. But they don't have to be. They don't have to take it on the chin. They could be upset. No. They could be defiant. I feel like it's such a microaggression, this whole thing. It's so gross to me. It's so gross. See, wait, Hamza laughed. Yes, it was funny when they did Dance the Block. Moose would have been better to leave. He was way better at comps. Oh, well, I mean, we're not there yet in the episode. We're just reeling over this interview. But I'm fine with how it went down, the first eviction, because I didn't feel as though Tanisha was trying hard enough to stay. She just wasn't putting in the work. And so I was just kind of like, if somebody's willing to put in the work, make the deals, get themselves to stay, I can respect that.
100%.
I told you it was bad. Hamza, it's bad. Wow, referring to them as bullies is irresponsible for an entertainment news channel. I would have applauded and shouted if I saved myself. Absolutely. It's not even the save themselves part. It's the nomination ceremony. If I got off the block and I was a target, I would be up there. I'd be getting fingers and be like, you trying to get me out? Sucks to be you because I'm still here. I would be going off. Yes. I would not be subtle and shake a hand. I might shake the hand, but
maybe
I would be really, really obnoxious.
Yeah. I'd be throwing veto keys around, screeching.
As a black man, Herman is not even allowed to be happy and dance to the block. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's really upsetting. If I was in that house, I'd give them what they want. I scream my way to the block. Absolutely. / if I was in the house, I would never go on the block. But if I did, I'd be pissed. Kevin is more of a bully, and I don't think that Kevin is a bully either. Absolutely.
100%.
They're only calling them a bully is because they're not white. That's just a fact. It's a fact. Really, whose fault is it that they did not make friends? Mm-hmm. It takes more than one person to socialize and be friendly instead of being confrontational. Yep. Definitely. I just understand that they are 35, and so they're a little bit older than most of the people in the house. So I get that it might be difficult to assimilate, but what I've found with them is that they were always just combative, and their tone when they spoke to people, even if it was in a friendly term, was always nagging. It sounded like a nagging, or that they weren't doing something right. Even when they were making food for people, it was just telling them how to do it properly. It's kind of like Roxroy. Roxroy on Survivor right now is similar in the micromanaging everybody type vibe. That's just not fun to be around. I don't find that Jess is fun to be around. I have to say, Jess in their interviews have been, I've been like, where's this person? Engaging, likable.
Shocking.
That the person that's in interviews and preseason is not the same person that went into the house. And so I think that they needed to fake it a little bit more, and then maybe they would have had some more friends.
Yeah, I just think Jess played an awful social game, and I don't even have it coming up to age, because Tanisha is 32, like she's older than quite a few of the house guests, and still wasn't. I think Jess is just socially awkward and bad with people, and that does not make for a good Big Brother player.
Well,
Or
Jojo,
successful one, I should say.
you're a little bit older than her, and but you're also a Taurus. So what do you see? Like, is there any Taurus traits that you see in Jess that you can recognize in yourself that you maybe utilized in a better way?
I mean, I think Jess is smart and stubborn, and strategically was on the right path at times, but also was putting their trust in all the wrong people. And if you're saying that you needed to, like week 1, they knew that they could only trust themselves, do what's best for you at all times. I think they really messed up their HOH by protecting the showmats, by protecting people that weren't going to protect them. So Gina would have been my replacement nom in a heartbeat. I would have stuck with the siblings. I think it was all just so messy, and I think they would have been in a better position at the safety chain if they had just put up Gino and taken Moose or Gino out. I don't think Jess would have necessarily followed the way that they did last night.
It's definitely different because we'll get to the safety chain, but I do think that Marty may have kept Jess if Gino wasn't in the equation. You know what I mean? I think that he chose Helena because he didn't want it to look like he was, he wanted to choose Helena because Kevin didn't choose Helena, and he's been protecting Helena quite a bit because Helena's been kind of his snitch. But I think that he might have been inclined to choose Jess more so if Gino wasn't there. So
Can we get rid of Jess's smug image right now? I don't even want to look at them. I
was going to watch the rest of it. You don't want to watch the rest?
No, I have no desire to hear from Jess.
I do want to hear more of this interview, though. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Do you really hate it?
Yeah, I like even.
That's amazing. So you couldn't play in the first safety competition last night. What was going through your mind? Were you thinking, "Oh man, I'm gonna be up"? Like,
I knew that there was people who were not that I was not in good graces with quite a few people. There were some people that definitely would have tried to keep me safe. I knew that as the outgoing HOH with likely a double or a triple coming, that it was a problem. I won't lie. I love the twist, but I don't love that I didn't also get a little bowling ball to roll. I mean, it wasn't an HOH comp, y'all. It was a safety comp. So I do feel like I should have been given a bowling ball, but I didn't. So I did my best to, carry the little balls away and hope for the best. But Moose scored that 15 early, and learning what the chain of safety was right after, I knew I was definitely going to be a broken link at the bottom.
Who do you think is next to leave? Who's on the chopping block?
Honestly, it depends who wins. I do think a lot of people are throwing out Marty's name. A lot of people are throwing out Gino's name. I think Kevin could be expendable to people. It depends how upset people are with Helena and where her vote landed. But also, if any of those 4 win power, then many other people are expendable too. So it really depends on who's got that HOH.
Who do you think is running the house right now?
Well, I tried to remove the person who was running the house, which was Tanisha. I knew that if I couldn't get Herman or Moose, which were definite sidekicks and very important to her, that I had to kind of remove the glue from several pages that were working together in a book. So I guess, again, running the house, I'm not sure if it's overt, but I do think Josh has many paths that he can take. I think he's in good graces with absolutely everyone. And him voting on the side of Tanisha staying, I think, was a good game move for him, even though I know he was considering both. So I would say maybe Josh.
And who do you want to win?
Again, Josh, who I found out from Arisa, is a doctor. Very amazing. He's doing a great job of not playing up the fact that he's very smart, although I can tell he's smart. He's very good at keeping secrets, so it makes sense he's a doctor. Patient confidentiality, as I would liken to it. I can't wait to see everyone else's bios, but I do think he has a great shot. I think there's a couple other people that are great at maneuvering, but that game is full of so many twists and turns and chances. Things change every hour, so it could really be anyone.
And my last question for you is, as a super fan, was this experience everything you dreamed of?
Yes and no. As a super fan, it was so fun to be in there, to see all the lights, see all the things from behind the scenes. There was many times where I had to pinch myself and be like, am I actually here? This is wild. But no, being nominated day 2 was heartbreaking. I know I'm a very fun social player. I definitely love to cook meals and be the life of the party. And unfortunately, it kind of just made me an outcast, which had me walking around sadder than I'd like to be with the rain cloud over my head. And so I wasn't.
Maybe maybe they needed to dance a little bit more when they were on the block and not be such a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, such an Eeyore.
Be the exact player I had hoped to be.
Well, I can see that interviewer might not have a career, because like that's pretty bad. I'm gonna comment on that video after. I think it's really irresponsible to push that narrative of the 2 Black men in the house, or people of color, going on the block and not doing it to the way that the white person felt would be appropriate, and to call them bullies for that. I think that's really wrong. It's really bad.
I mean, Jess's takes weren't that great in that interview. After watching all of it, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I just also think it's so funny that everyone thought Tanisha was such a mastermind when Tanisha kind of had a weak game and was relying on a lot of other people. Yeah.
She had no game. She was nice and I liked her, but she wasn't playing at all.
No.
So when you hear it, so this guy, David, he has recency bias radio. So he goes on rants all the time. He's a Black man from the States. And when he was doing a rant about Big Brother 23, I wasn't agreeing with him because like he wasn't in favor of Tiffany. Some of the things that Tiffany was doing in the house and, his perspectives, I wasn't agreeing with them. So I wasn't listening. Like I stopped listening to his rants. And then after the whole Todrick of it all, I started to actually understand where he was coming from. And like, I kind of started to agree a little bit more, and I was less offended by his rants about Tiffany. And so he is thinking actually that because Tiffany was pushed to all of us as this amazing mastermind, like that's the edit that she got, that she was the person that brought together the entire Cookout Alliance. Like they made her seem like the mastermind. He's calling it the Tiffany effect, that any Black woman now that may talk to any other Black people in a game is now ultimately the mastermind behind the scenes, not winning anything. So he's saying there's a Tiffany effect is what happened to Tanisha, because look, Marty was saying like, oh, all the Black people are working together. He wasn't saying it in those words exactly, but he was grouping them together immediately before they actually were working together, when they were still trying to work with everybody, but they kept on grouping them together, blowing up their alliances that were mixed with all backgrounds. Blowing them up and kind of forcing them all to work together. And so then, okay, so all the Black people are working together. Well, we need a Tiffany mastermind. It must be Tanisha. And so he thinks that it's because of, how Tiffany was perceived. And that's what people just recently watched of a Black woman. We haven't seen a Black woman really play this strongly since Danielle's season 3, I would say. Yeah. And so they think that their alerts are on, or spidey senses are on, and they could really see that Tanisha was like the mastermind, when really it's not true at all.
No, not even a little. Brutal.
Okay. So Hamza says they were blaming her. They were blaming Herman for nominating them week 1, being the reason that they left, when people have won the game after being nominated week 1. Absolutely. Yes. Steve Moses is one. I think he was nominated week 1. Who else? Many people have gotten far anyways. Yeah. If you're nominated week 1, like I played a game and I was nominated week 1. I didn't end up winning that game, but like you can still get out of that. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's a great story. It's a great, like I've started from literally the bottom and making it to the end. Yeah, I'm just, There you go, Maureen.
Maureen,
Yeah,
you can take her off the
100%.
screen. Take them off the screen now. We don't need to see them any
Mug.
longer. Just looking at them make me angry. I'm with you. I'm with you guys. Have to set it right. Jess is a professional victim. Absolutely. Guess what, Jess? You got played. You got outplayed.
Ooh.
Absolutely, babe. By your number one, Kevin. Absolutely. Go and watch some of the footage because you did not have a handle on this particular game.
So
They love saying that they're expendable to the black players. Like, aren't you expendable to the white players too? LOL. Absolutely.
Jess was expendable to everyone. And that's why a part of me is shocked. Like, if I was playing the game with a Jess, I'd be like, all right, let's not take them out right now. Let's go with the other person because they're still going to be a huge target the next week.
Absolutely. I mean, I
Personally,
would have
like, I
probably
get
kept Jess.
I would have
They didn't have time
wanted
to
to
talk.
keep a Jess. Exactly.
They have no clue during this interview. Kevin screwed them, and T is not running the house. Absolutely. Can we throw some tomatoes at them?
Tomato.
Everyone wants her fired. They are. I don't think that they will be able to make it past. I can't imagine them getting another interview. Have they been doing the interviews for all of the ET Canada?
I'm not even sure. I haven't been paying attention.
Gonna get on that LinkedIn. I'm finding out who that person is.
Done. It's official.
Finding it. I can find people more easily. So, like, people that I don't know more easily. So this person will be found. Oh, they are the life of the party. Maybe in like their regular life, but not on this show. I agree with the recency bias radio, except when he was against Tiffany. Right, exactly. But I was now understanding a little bit of where he was coming from with Tiffany not necessarily being when she was wavering back and forth. Like, I understand a little bit more why he's coming to that conclusion. I don't necessarily agree with it. And at the time when I was hearing him say it, it was making me very angry, but it doesn't irk me as much now that I know how he thinks and his opinions, and he's very pro black, and if anybody looks like they're wavering off that, he gets very upset with that. So I can understand why he was doing that, but I didn't like hearing it when he was talking about her in a negative light.
Yeah.
We've had the same journey on this channel with recency bias radio. Yes. Oh, wait, or did you hate my opinions about something and now we've come around? What happened?
Either one.
I think that as for the interviewer, Jess was their pick and is bitter that they got evicted. I don't think the interviewer really watches the show.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with the Tiffany effect kind of thing. Gotcha. Except Summer is the Tiffany this season. I don't think Summer's actually playing that good of a game. We'll see this week how good her game is. I like Summer. I would love to think that she's really great, but I don't know if she's actually that good at this game. Yeah, she's bright and refreshing. Absolutely. Alyssa was nominated week 1 and she went pretty far into. Yep, that's true.
Yep.
Yes, and they also do Survivor. I recognize her voice from Survivor interviews. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, we can find that out. It'll be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Jojo and I have to say that the color purple, the purple looks nice on you. I was thinking that you matched like the background and the set.
Great movie,
it's my favorite
too,
color, but it looks nice on you. Yes, it does. So the color purple,
Yeah.
Yes, it was a great movie, but it was intense. I cried a lot.
A lot.
Out of the black women, she's the most strategic. Yes, definitely. Summer is the most strategic out of all the black women that were playing. 100%.
Yeah.
So thank you for setting us off with this rant in the beginning here. But let's talk about this episode. So basically, I was wondering if Tanisha's going to fight to stay, but like she really just didn't. We see Summer in the diary room saying that, like, my girl is going to be pulling votes, she's going to be staying, and I'm like, Summer, like, this is not happening at all. Which I wonder how they could maybe have known that Tanisha was seen as such a mastermind. I guess they really couldn't, because it was kind of all this coming from the other side that this was a thing.
I mean, Herman could have tipped them off a little earlier, but I really feel like he did his best to be like, hey, like your name is out there. People are talking about you. Like maybe some votes aren't as locked in as you think. But Tanisha was convinced that she had Gino. She was convinced she had Helena. So that would have been 7 votes. And thinking like Jacey-Lynne would probably vote with Gino. Like I'm sure Tanisha was feeling really good up until someone let them know that they were going. And we're
I
not
believe
going to
it
find
was.
out.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just don't know when we're gonna find. I guess we'll find out on Monday, maybe if they end up showing who leaked it. But I'm assuming Helena either told.
Yeah.
I'm assuming to try and like, not have Betty and Summer never talk to her again. Because
I did hear it was Helena. I don't know if it was just a speculation or if somebody actually witnessed a part of the conversation, but I did hear that Helena was the one that gave them the heads up. We also see in this particular episode that Tanisha has a conversation with Gino. It seems like that conversation was yesterday morning when she cried to him. And so I think that happened, and then maybe Helena also said that you don't have my vote, and she would definitely need to have Helena's vote if she had a shot in staying. So that's what I'm assuming went down and happened. So we do see a scene with Helena in the storage room, the pantry, and she's kind of leaning against the wall and just kind of complaining about everybody. And I like Helena, and I like the Helena, Kevin, and even Josh dynamic. I actually really like that, but I don't necessarily like how two-faced she's being.
I don't mind it as much, only because Helena's been this way since the beginning. I've never looked at Helena and thought like, this is someone that I need to love or is trying to play a respectful game. I think Helena's a dirty player. I think they've owned up to that. I think they're playing only for themselves and really trying to maneuver this rat game to the best of their ability. You can't play a rat game forever. You do have to choose a side. And I think they've really lucked out with everything that went down this week, because I don't think they're going to have a target on their backs for a little while longer. Helena's one of 2 people that haven't been nominated. And it's week, 7 now? 6? And there are 2 players who haven't touched the block. That's pretty impressive, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that she's playing a bad game. I just felt today was the first time that I was kind of like, I didn't like her. I was like, oh, that's like, oh, I don't really like how you're treating them. And when Tanisha kind of came into the pantry for a quick second, and then I think Gino called her back out, and like how she rolled her eyes to Tanisha, and I was like, what? Tanisha hasn't really done anything to you. I mean, I know she's saying that she threw her name under the bus, but Helena has been doing the same thing the entire time. Yeah. Like, so
I think it's only because Jess came to Helena and filled her in on everything that they had been told. So I think Helena didn't feel as guilty saying goodbye to Tanisha or saying goodbye to anybody. I don't
care about saying goodbye. I just was just kind of like, she seemed to wanted to have like the trust of people in the Men's Dem alliance, but then she wasn't actually doing anything that was trustworthy. And so then when they were saying like, well, these are the people that like potentially can go up, like what if you did put up Helena or Kevin, because like they don't seem to be really that tightly attached to anybody, and nobody would be that mad about it. So I get there that just throwing in that as an option, but the fact that like she's so blasphemous, it's just kind of like, it's a little bit rich coming from Helena, who's been playing so dirty this whole entire time. And so it just was like a little bit annoying to me, the hypocrisy of it all. And I just didn't enjoy it. I was like, oh, I don't like you today. Like I do usually like people that are scheming and figuring things out and doing things for their own advantage. But something today in this particular episode made me not happy with her.
Yeah, it could have also just been like frustration,
change.
like, in the moment. In the moment, I feel like people are saying things that they don't necessarily mean a lot of the time. It can be 20 minutes of frustration, like, let me get this off my chest. I hate this person. You don't actually hate them, but you're going to look up at the camera and vent. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Helena
She can vent. It's fine. That's true.
Helena's a
She's
venter.
definitely allowed to vent however she chooses to. I guess maybe with the timing of it all, I just didn't I just felt like she's kicking Tanisha while she's down. I don't know. There's something about it I didn't enjoy.
But
And
Tanisha didn't even know that they were down. Like that's what was upsetting about the last couple of days was Tanisha really wasn't trying to solidify the votes in her favor. And
yeah, Boston girl, we agree with you here. Yeah, T was a huge disappointment, especially her campaigning. I was expecting much more from her this season, absolutely, and so did everybody in the house. Was expecting that she was doing a lot more. We just heard that Jess thought that they were the glue of, and Moose and her mom were her minions, and I'm like, not really what's going on at all.
No.
Her mom has more control over this game than Tanisha did.
Yep.
So a lot of them think that T is a mastermind, and while I don't have any proof, I suspect Marty or Kevin are the instigators. Yeah, both of them.
Yep.
Tanisha said she was most hurt by not having Helena's vote and is the most mad at her. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I understand that.
And she said that she got with her side of the house and told them to stick together.
Gonna be hard to stick together this week.
And Helena shouldn't have brought up her daughter and kept it at a game level. Oof. Absolutely. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Sienna. Like, definitely, I think that's low.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope, I'm sure Helena didn't do it on purpose. I don't think it was I'm gonna be this rude person in the diary room, but that's just my opinion.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
No.
So, Tanisha so we see Kevin and Moose in the hot tub, which I thought was funny. And Kevin had basically put into place the fact that the house was going to be keeping Moose, but he wanted Moose to maybe pitch to him and start pitching to the people that that are already considering keeping him. And so he wanted him to pitch to him. And so he pitches to him and starts promising him everything, which is perfectly fine. Anything to stay. I don't have to keep my promises, but like, if you're going to keep me, I'll promise you whatever you want. Yes. Absolutely. So I really like that from Kevin. Like, I do think that Kevin's playing a really good game. I'm curious how he's going to maneuver this week because we'll get to the spoilers. But I think that Kevin is as masterful as he kind of claims he was going to be coming into the house. And I can't believe that he's living up to what he promised.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Kevin. I'm shocked that he's playing this well.
Somebody's saying that, like, oh, I'm going in as the evil mastermind. Like, okay, yeah, Kevin.
Good luck. Be a week 3. No, Kevin's in no real danger. Well,
he's not going away. Necessarily. So Tanisha pitches to Helena. Helena doesn't really know where her vote is. Like, she didn't really give Tanisha a lot, so I don't know why Tanisha felt that safe with Helena, because Helena, how she was responding, and that wasn't a vote of somebody that's keeping me 100% and that we're working together moving forward. It definitely was wishy-washy.
I think Tanisha played it way so wrong, saying things like, well, when we get to a certain point, it's too early, like all these phrases that they were using. I'm like, what are you talking about? Tell Helena you want a Final 4, pitch a Final 2. Why not? Say, like, let's go to the end together, girl. Or if I don't win, I'd love to see you win. Like, I'd love to make the jury. Push that sort of, you're so close. Like, push that mind frame. I would love for you to win. If I don't win, if I'm taken out, I get it. But I would love to see one of us 4 girls win, whatever it is. It was just really bad pitching.
Well, this is what I think the problem is with most people playing this game. In recent years, it seems as though people just secure votes. They don't secure safety, or they don't give any assurance, or they're just like, okay, you're voting to keep me. Like, why am I voting for keep me? Like if you don't give me a reason why it's more beneficial for me to keep you over the other person, I'll make my own decision as to who is going to be better for my game. So it's not just me promising you a vote. Like, I want to know what do I get out of it? Why is it better for me to keep you?
especially this season, there's no true like cemented alliances that are running the game. Everyone's really looking playing for themselves first, which I love to see. I think it's a really exciting season, and I love that there's not a massive 7-person alliance bumping everyone off this like week after week. But I think Tanisha really just pitched poorly the last couple of days on the block.
Yeah, it's like what? Just keep me around.
Yeah, I
Moose has won
want to be here.
competitions. I really want to be here. I want to be here for my daughter. I mean, which is valid, but
Yeah, of course.
everybody has their reasons for wanting to be there. So we kind of have to take that one off the table, and you need to game wise show me why it's better for my game for you to be in this house.
Yep.
What does
100%.
what does that mean? How am I going to win this? How is you staying in this game going to help me win this game?
Yep.
That's what you have to be pitching to them.
Yep.
Instead of
game
leaving it
to
into their hands. It's so silly. You're going to say something? Are you frozen? You're literally frozen, about to say something. All right. Oh,
Scared me.
you're like,
Everything disappeared.
oh,
For both of us. It was, no.
no, but you were just, I was like, okay, you're about to say something. And then you're literally like about to say something and for a long time.
What was I going to
What were you
say?
gonna say?
Oh, what was I going to say?
About making a promise of somebody's game.
You want to give people's you want to give people what they want to hear. Like what's best for your game is what I'm going to be telling you. Even if it's just better for my game, I'm going to be shifting anything to make it sound like it's great for you or the move that you should be doing. So I think Tanisha could have done a lot of that and secured 5 votes easy if they started right away instead of letting it flip a couple times. It flipped like 2 or 3 times in 24 hours.
Absolutely. I mean, especially if people are on the fence, that means that you have a chance of staying. So start promising blood. Like, I don't know, promise something.
A kidney, anything.
Yes, anything. Definitely didn't put in the work though. Sorry, girl. So Hamza says, and Helena said that she wanted to see all the POC women go far, and the fact that she was deciding vote is a bad look. Well, we know that Helena isn't actually for POCs.
Helena's for Helena, 100%.
She's playing for herself and Kevin at this moment. She's not, because she's a person of color doesn't mean that she's going to be looking out for all the people of color. She's looking out for her.
Yeah.
So we can't expect her to do what I would do or what any of the other people of color would do in the house. Like she's going to do what she wants to do. That's best for her. That's it. So I loved when Kevin was asking Jacey-Lynne and Gino, so what do you want to do? And how he's like, well, don't you want to get revenge back? And, you were the only 2 that were left out of a vote. Like, don't you want that other side to be left out of this vote? Like, I do like how he was playing up revenge, the story of revenge. I thought that was a really great thing. He's just so devilish when he brings up some of these topics. I'm like, sneaky. I liked it.
Yeah.
So Summer to Josh, what am I writing down? Okay, so Summer is talking to Josh about like how she's kind of feeling a little bit uneasy and like something feels off, and Josh definitely knows that the flip is about to happen, but like he's still playing it off with Summer that like they're working together, and he has no idea that it's actually going to be flipping, but he's kind of speculating with her. And she brings it up to Josh and JCL, or I call her JCL, Jacey-Lynne, and she's a good liar, because she was like, what? I mean, I haven't heard anything different. Like, I think everything's gonna be the same. I was pretty impressed by how well she lied.
I mean, I'm not JL's biggest fan whatsoever, but I don't think JL is playing a bad game. I don't think there's anyone in there that can say, I hate her. I don't want to see her win. I think if she's sitting next to Gino, I think Gino will go. I think
maybe not now.
Maybe not now, but she's won like a veto. She won safety herself. Like, she's a pretty strong player. If I was in that house, I would still be looking at her. And socially, she's not that bad. except with Summer, and I'd be scared of Summer if I was her. She should be scared of
But
Summer.
Summer doesn't win anything, so are you?
Not yet, unfortunately.
So I love the scene with Heather, with Kevin and Helena with the tensor bandage. It's a longer scene that I watched on the feeds, and I do really like how they find moments to go in and like talk to each other without it look like they're scheming and conspiring. So this was a really great moment where they were talking about the flip, making that happen, and I thought it was a great scene. And
Yeah,
I'm happy that they showed it. Thank you.
I really like their dynamic. I think they're a great twosome. I'm rooting for the Rat Pack. I think that's a really smart strategy, the three of them together.
What about the crash test dummies, though?
Oh.
What's that name?
Yeah, I don't like that name. I like the Rat Pack.
Rat Pack is from Twitter.
Yeah,
So
that's how it should be. Like, why didn't you think of the Rat Pack? Come on. Or the Ghost. Is that what they're calling the
Twitter
two of
should
them?
name all the alliances. Imagine like so Helena, Josh, and Kevin each individually are in the diary room and being like, the Twitter fans have spoken, and your trio with Josh and Kevin is called the Rat Pack. But that would be too much information from the audience. But I think that would be
unfortunately.
amazing.
I would love it.
Would be amazing. Then Josh comes in and Helena leaves, and we have another great moment with Kevin just staring at Josh with a sinister look on his face. It's like, so do you want to play with your big brain or your big heart? And Josh is like, I want to play with my big brain. I love him being taken over to the dark side.
I love it. I think it was great.
Very fun.
It's a great three-person alliance. I think they can play it. I mean, this week's going to be hard for them. We'll get there, but I think the three of them could do some damage.
Absolutely. I mean, this is definitely my favorite trio in the house, like 100%. I've always really liked their game conversations, and so I'm 100% for this working. I feel bad, but I'm sure that Josh is well aware that he might not go as far as they're claiming that he would go. Like,
I agree.
I don't think that he believes that they'll take him to final three, but
no, they'll cut him at like 5.
100%.
I think the two of them will aim for him earlier than 3 for sure. They don't want him anywhere close to final 4. Let's be real. I don't think anyone should want to go to the end with Josh. Josh, no. I think, beats pretty much everybody in the house right now. So take him far, sure, because you can trust him and you're having fun with him and it's a great working relationship, but cut him when you gotta.
And I hope, well, I want him to do well as well. So hopefully he will recognize that they're going to turn on him sooner than they're promising, but like take the deal for now. Take it.
Of course, yeah. Take every deal. Like if it gets you a little further, yeah, I'm gonna take it. Sure, why not?
Be like, okay, well, let's go. So Josh does Kevin tells Josh about the split plan where he wants it to be a 5-4 vote, that Josh can still vote with Tanisha or vote to keep Tanisha with Summer, Betty, and Herman, so that it doesn't look like we're in on that plan. He could then still play that other side, which is good and bad for Josh. Like, I think it's good that he's not going to be an obvious traitor to people that really care about him and that want to see him do well in the game. But I think it also leaves him open to the side that votes out Tanisha, for them to be like, oh, Josh didn't vote out Tanisha, he's on the other side, let's get rid of Josh. So I think that he's kind of being placed in a position to be part of the opposition, just so that he will be somebody that people will maybe want to target, so that even Kevin and Helena won't have to. So
especially with the way that the safety chain went down, like I'm assuming a lot of players looked at Jess as a buffer, like, okay, like Jess will probably go before me. Jess will probably go before me. And during a double eviction, I personally think you should be taking out the person that you don't want to spend a week campaigning against or having around for a week. It's a one and done. We have this moment to do it. Let's do it. Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. I think Jess was the wrong target for a double eviction.
Yeah, but they were coming off a terrible week, so
whatever.
I totally understand that. So this is next to the scene where Tanisha was talking to Gino and crying. I feel so stupid. I felt bad about that. I think Gino's like, well, I'm weighing my options, and then she just like tears. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Tanisha. It wasn't going to go well for you. So at the vote, the eviction ceremony, Tanisha's dressed really nicely. So we were definitely tipped off. She was definitely tipped off. We were tipped off that she was tipped off because Moose was dressed in casual clothes, which means that he was prepared to do the rep. Exactly. So Tanisha does say that she's not cooking for them anymore, which is really interesting. Tanisha does end up leaving. It is the 5-4 vote. We weren't sure if maybe Herman or Josh might have moved over and it would have been 7-2. But no, it's 5-4. Tanisha leaves, and it definitely clarifies that her name is Tanisha, not Tiana, which I never saw this happen, but apparently Jess has misnamed her. Now, the reason why this is kind of a big deal, and I can understand why Tanisha is mad about it, is because people tend to use that as a kind of like a microaggression. So I don't know if you've seen it on the challenge yet, but what was her name? Cheyenne was on the challenge. She's from Teen Mom, and Johnny Bananas and his cousin Vince kept on calling her Chantele, oh Chantele, and when she's like, that's not my name, and she's crying to her mom, and it's because if you kind of call a Black person by another stereotypical Black name, that's definitely considered a microaggression. And so even if it's subconscious, even if it wasn't intended, it's like if someone called me Shaniqua, or some people call me like, oh, I thought your name was Charmaine or Charlene. And I'm like, no, it's not my name,
Even Chanel, because I know like you've been referred to as Chanel instead of Chantele. I'm like, why is it so difficult just to get someone's name? And even if it's a name you're not familiar with on the daily, like, learn it. I don't know. Especially when you're in the Big Brother house, learn everyone's names. It's not that difficult. You've got a lot of time. So calling people by the right pronouns and the right names should come pretty easily if you work on it. So well, say Tanisha.
Doesn't. Why does it need to be that difficult? Right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. I've never had any trouble with anybody's names, but maybe there could be a situation where I could. But yeah, it was a microaggression, and I understand Tanisha being upset by it. And you can swing however you want. Absolutely. So is the ET Canada interviewer going to say that Tanisha was bullying and not respecting the process of the game by how she left the game? It's like, it was rotten. So Moose cries though when she leaves, which I thought was really sweet. He had a really nice relationship with Tanisha, and he was really upset by that. But anyways, on her final words out the door, Tanisha says, I was supposed to be the pawn, and I think that your head of household week was worse than Kyle's.
I mean, both pretty bad, but I don't think anyone's can beat Kyle. I really don't.
No, not at all.
There's no way.
It was
like beautiful to hear, beautiful to be said.
Exhausting oh my goodness. But I was wondering, where was that fire of Tanisha's beforehand? Like, if she had some of this energy when she was fighting to stay and like making campaigns and I'll go after Jet, like whatever she needed to say, maybe she could have stayed. But at this point, to the people that it mattered, she looked like she was the mastermind, but then she wasn't actually fighting to stay. And the people that were maybe on the button, she held no value for them.
Yeah.
So
Helena was really the one she needed to persuade, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well. So Tanisha had a mini interview, obviously, with Arisa. Talks about the vibe being off. She could feel that, maybe it was her, and she kind of understood that she was going to be the one that was going to go home. But she was definitely happy that it was a double eviction, and she was really hoping that the 4 people of color now stuck together. Like, please stick together. And I really hope that they do at this point, because it's all really frustrating that it's now down to color lines, but
yeah,
they pushed them this way.
Yep.
And now I want them to stick together. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
So after Tanisha's interview, we have Arisa saying, house guests, come to the living room. And I was surprised that Jess couldn't play. I agree with Jess in this assessment that it wasn't a head of household competition, because Arisa did say, we're not playing for head of household. We're not playing for veto. We're playing for your own safety. So I do think that Jess should have been offered the opportunity to play for her safety, their safety.
I agree 1,000%, especially because Moose was eligible to, not to spoil it, we already know, Moose was eligible to play in the next HOH. So I don't understand why Jess wasn't able to participate in the safety challenge. I think everyone should have been allowed to try it out, and that was the only thing of the entire episode where I was like, oh, I don't like that. I don't agree with the rules here.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, what's Helms is saying? It's funny how they didn't ask Tanisha about what she has to say about Jess, but they bring up Jess's whole Herman and Moose thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't seen Tanisha's interview, but like, exactly. They're just trying to target the Black men as, you know, being tyrants and being bullies, and they're being nothing of the sort.
Nope.
It's all a hideous microaggression. Oh, sorry, yes, get back to work, Dolores. Thank you for joining us.
I mean, if we want to talk about bullying, I mean, Gino was a complete jerk to Summer this morning about breakfast, saying he's not cooking for her. It's not happening anymore, princess. Like, totally being so negative out of nowhere, saying like, no breakfast for you. I'm never cooking for you again. Make your own stuff. Like, out of nowhere. So if we want to talk bullying, let's start there.
But I think what happened with that, I think that, you know, the fact that she used to give him a lot of attention, especially when he was head of household, and then she just kind of dropped the ball there with like giving attention. And then with I don't know if Herman told him about the fact that he asked her if she'd play for him and she said no, but the fact that Herman is like, let's like work together with the people that are doing things in the house. And so I think that when Herman kind of brings up the people that are like winning comps and doing stuff and not letting the other people coast by, I think that, and then she also wasn't giving him any of the attention that she used to be giving him. I think he started to just get the ick and started getting annoyed by her, because then he started making comments about like, oh, she always just is like, she's always first there with her plate, but she never cooks, she never cleans. And so people started noticing more that she's kind of lazy and maybe ungrateful, we'll say, maybe too, sorry, I said like a terrible word, ungrateful, but like just not reciprocating any of the generosity of the other people in the house. So I think he's just getting annoyed by her.
Yeah, but should we be calling that bullying? Is that a bully tactic? So, no. But I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, it would be a bully tactic maybe if the entire house started saying that about her at the same time, and she's just standing there by herself and asking for food or something. Maybe.
We will not feed you.
That's yelling at her, a group of them, maybe. So, okay, so we learn that they're going to be playing warped bowling, and the highest score is going to be safe. So it's a crapshoot comp. You have to roll the ball. Jacey-Lynne is up first. She gets an 8, so that's pretty decent. The highest score is 15. Moose goes second and gets a 15. So he has the leaderboard for the entire competition, because nobody was able to even come close. Well, Kevin came close with 11. Summer had a 12, but everybody else had under that. Poor Betty gets a gutter ball. Marty almost gets a gutter ball, but he ends up getting 5. And so Moose is going to be safe, and he is going to be starting the safety chain. So they all go back into the living room, standing up in front of the couch, and and Moose is going to save one person. I was screaming, Herman.
Lost my mind. So happy. I couldn't have been happier with the result, especially starting with Moose. I was like, okay, my faves, I think, will be safe here. They're
Yes.
going to find a way.
Yes, and I was definitely really happy with how the chain went. And so they're going into the final three. So Taryn and I had speculated that maybe it would go to like the final five, and then they would play a veto comp, and then that veto comp would start the chain to the two people, and they'd
Right.
be up for nomination. That's what we thought, but this was a pretty close second, I thought. And so Moose picks Herman. Herman picks Josh. Josh picks Betty. I wasn't sure where Josh was going to go. So I was like,
Mm,
yes. I knew that him and Betty are very, very, very close, but I wasn't sure if he was going to feel like he didn't want to show those cards or not. But the fact that he just voted with them, I
brilliant.
think was allowed him to be able to save Betty without it looking a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And then Betty, of course, chose Summer. Summer chose Kevin. What did you think about
Ooh.
that?
And even the way that she looked at Kevin when she chose him, I thought it was a big FU to Gino, to Marty, to Jess. I kind of loved it. I was so excited. I was like, yes, give it to Kevin. Yes. Because if you pass it to Gino, it's going to jail and then possibly to Jess. You're not going to give it to
Jess?
Helena.
Maybe. Mm.
I think Jace could have given it to
Maybe,
Jess.
yeah.
That would have been the smart move for Jacey-Lynne. But I think it worked out perfectly. And I think Summer kind of knew what she was doing in the moment. Picking Kevin, making him show his cards. It really, like, the house gets to see what who Kevin's going to choose.
And he chose Marty, which I was kind of surprised by.
Oh, that all was beautiful. Who Kevin had to choose, who Marty had to choose. I loved it.
Marty chose Helena.
Yeah.
And Helena cries when she gets chosen, which is leaving the final three people being a showmance and Jess, unfortunately.
Yes.
So Jess, Gino, and Jacey-Lynne are going to play the next safety comp under pressure. So they have to sort their balls. They have 3 different colors that they have to sort, and they have to put them in these giant tubes. They can't put any wrong colors in the tube, or they have to start all over again. So these people were like moving really quickly doing this. It seemed like Jess was in the lead. Jess or JL, I couldn't tell who was always in the lead because they're kind of going back and forth. But we then see that Jess has one white ball in one of her green tubes, and they didn't notice. And even Herman, though. So where's this? It's the sportsmanship of Herman when he's like, make sure that there's no white balls in the tubes. Like, definitely gave them a heads up, I would say. And that was very helpful. And didn't have to do that.
Could Jess not have, like, flipped it back and then covered 2 and just let the green fall? Would that have been allowed? I feel like that would have been the best bet for Jess. But I really like JL's. I'm not a JL stan, I promise. But I really liked her strategy. I thought it was smart. Choose one color, focus on one color, focus on one color. I thought that was really smart.
Makes it easy, or it makes it easier for you to get all the right colors in the right spot.
Yes. 100%.
Right. So, and then maybe even at the same time, you could be sorting the next color beside, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not sure how I would do it. Exactly.
I think I would have tried to do what JL was doing. Focus on one, the next.
Because like if you start going like all over the place, you may make a mistake. So
yeah, there's more room for error.
Was super fast and manages to get it in. It seems like Jess would have won because they were trying to push in a green ball and it wasn't going in, because that's when they noticed that there was a white ball in there and they had to dump it out. They were starting to put it back in really quickly. But by that point, Jacey-Lynne finishes and runs and rings the bell. So Jacey-Lynne is safe. The 2 people going to be on the block are going to be Jess and Gino.
Ooh.
Now, I agree with you. I would have probably taken this opportunity to take out Gino, but they didn't have enough time to confer. If Gino was on the block for the week, I'm sure that they would have come into the agreement that this might be our only chance to take him out. So let's do that now. But it was just so fast. So Jess ends up leaving a 7-2 vote. So what did you think of Gino and Jess's speech though beforehand? So Gino does talk about how like, hey, I did your dirty work, so hopefully that you guys will keep me this week. And Jess to me seemed as though their speech was a goodbye speech,
100%.
wanting to stand up for all trans, non-binary and trans siblings, and kind of it seemed to me like a final message before they were leaving the game.
Yeah, 100%. I think Jess was giving up. Like, honestly, I am sad that the 2 non-binary house guests this year have gone out so soon in the game, couldn't find their footing. I think it's crappy for representation, but at the same time, Jess didn't play well. Jay was targeted incredibly early on. So it's just unfortunate.
I mean, so I wonder what that interviewer thought about Herman and Moose's voting when they got to vote out Jess. Like, it's a TV show, people.
Yeah. If someone just put me on the block along with someone else and we're both still here, I'm gonna be going into that diary room with a big smile on my face, celebrating my casting a vote for eviction.
I feel like I've never been happier to do something.
Happily vote to evict. Happily.
You'd be like, you want to see me dance now? I would definitely be dancing.
Would I not have tried to control a 4-person vote in that moment? 100%. I would not have targeted Jess. I wouldn't have taken Jess out. No way. Jess is such a huge target that.
No, but would you have done it if you didn't know how everybody else was voting? You would have taken that risk?
I would have thrown my vote.
Because speaking of which, so you would have pulled what Marty and Helena did.
100%. Yeah. And
really,
then
I would never have done that.
And then said I voted for Jess. 100%. Lied about it.
I would not have, because it's really tiring to lie for the rest of the game. Like, that would just be an annoying thing that you'd have to be thinking about the whole time. But B, like, if I'm on the wrong side of the vote and I vote to keep Jess or to vote out Jess and Jess ends up staying, I'm not as scared of their retaliation as I would be of Gino's. So I would have played safe, and I would have kept Gino.
Yeah, I think I would have just tried to find a 4 right away. Been like, okay, I don't care about anybody else. The 4 of us, let's vote the same. If my allies were off the block, they were voting.
A chance.
I don't know. I think
they didn't have a chance to confer. It seems. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like they didn't get a chance to talk it out.
I did read this morning that there was a group of people talking in the Expedia room, and it was
Josh
kind of
was one of
up.
them, I believe.
Yeah, I think Betty was one of them, and I think they really could have flipped it, but I think people were still in their feelings about Jess, and which isn't a bad thing. Like, good for them, good for Moose, good for Herman, good for a few of the players, but I personally would have wanted to keep a shield like Jess an extra week.
It was that people were too. If they had the full week, I think that would have happened. It's because it was fresh off the heels of Tanisha going out, and people play emotionally this season, and so 100%. I definitely think that without having a full week of reasoning and rationale and campaigning, that they would have come to that conclusion that it would have been better to keep Jess, but not in such a quick double eviction. I don't think that they had the time. Yeah. So I was like, when Helena voted out Gino, I was like, oh, is she doing this? This could be messy. Jess does make a speech about polarity, and if there's good, that means there's got to be evil too. And I was wondering what they were meaning, that they were considered the evil, and like, so now that they're gone, a new evil is going to arise. Like, I guess that's what they were insinuating.
I think so. I would assume that Jess wouldn't think of themselves as the hero in the situation.
And so when they went out to have their interview with Arisa, again, I found that they were just so much more likable. I wish that they would have put on their interview persona and interacted with the house guests, because they are likable in interview.
Yeah, I think we see that with a lot of people, that they, like, I'm sure casting is like, this person's going to be so exciting and have such a great social game, and they go in and don't. So definitely disappointing. If this is your lifelong dream to play Big Brother and you go in and restart tonight. Oh God, my computer's like restart. No,
We're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done.
like no.
So the last thing is I felt bad for Jess because I think one of the reasons why they were trying to get Tanisha out so quickly, they wanted her to be out pre-jury because they didn't want Tanisha to be in the jury. Definitely will have a lot of jury votes, and if they were get to the end, they would definitely win.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why Tanisha was pushed to be going out so soon. And then Arisa turns to the teleprompter and says that jury does not start after this week. It starts after next eviction. So it's going to be a 7-person jury. So Jess, after all that, doesn't even make it to jury, unfortunately.
I think it's going to be an 8-person jury.
No,
Jury
but
starts
one more
now.
person will go, right? Isn't there 9 people?
It's
10
jury
people?
now. It's jury now.
No, she said after next week. Starting next week, she said.
I thought she said jury started like as soon as Jess was done.
No.
But jury is now. No,
there's one more person out, and then jury is starting. Is what I gathered from it. Chat, can you confirm or deny?
Because I gathered that it was going to be 8, and that's when I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? Why is there going to be an 8-person jury? Does Canada get a vote? Is it like season 3 where they cancel someone's vote? What's going on? Hi, Jess.
Hi, Jess. You did miss the whole live. We're actually going to be getting off of right about now. Yeah, see, YouTube is really funny that way. Sometimes they just don't share.
Notify.
They don't notify the peoples. It tends to happen all the time. So I don't know. I'm going to complain to YouTube about it. But thank you for being here. We're at the kind of the end. We're just speculating what's going to happen next week. Do you know? You will know for sure. So what did Arisa say? Did she say that it starts next week? Like with whoever's head of household now and whoever is evicted now is going to be the first person of the jury? Or is it after this person this week is evicted, then the jury starts? Do you remember? Thanks, Jess.
Thank God. Because I thought it was really funny because I was thinking like Jess is the only person not making jury right now. Like everyone else is jury. And that's when I was like, 8-person jury? What? Why is that happening? I saw it on Twitter. 7. People were like, I think it's 8. Are they doing a final 3? Like, what's going on? So we'll see.
I think the wording, anyways, we'll have to figure it out.
Rely on.
I think that she would have said to the house guests that like everybody made jury, unless that's why they got the party last night.
Maybe. I mean, it was the halfway point.
That's true.
The other day, so it could have been like a halfway point party. But I do remember season 3 having 8 jury members, and then they
can vote.
Had to cut. No, they had someone cut from the jury to vote. Like one person wasn't allowed to vote.
So Jess says, I thought that she said jury starts now, but now I'm second guessing. LOL, I was wondering how they do it with 8 people too. I really thought she said starting next week.
And I thought she said like jury is
now. Do I have my remote somewhere? Oh, hold on. Maybe I can
find
it for us.
No, I'm excited.
Okay, so let's while I find this to see if I can detect what is actually being said. So all right, guys, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what the spoilers are, how this week might be going, just tune out now. Make sure you still subscribe. I'll put my little subscribe ticker down the bottom. Like this video, leave a comment, ring the notification bell, so hopefully you'll be notified anytime that I go live. So spoilers are, we know who the new head of household is, and I literally thought that it was an April Fool's prank when I heard Taryn mention it this morning. But what do we have upon us, Jojo?
We have a Marty HOH.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He doesn't even get to reap like any sort of backlash over turning on Gino twice. A, not picking him in the safety chain. B, voting him to be evicted.
No.
He doesn't have to face that. He has to be a 2-time head of household winner. he gets to. I'm just so annoyed. I wanted pretty much anybody other than him to win.
Yeah, I would have been. Well, there's a couple of people I didn't want to win, but
Such
yeah,
as
I don't want to see the showmance win HOH, and Marty. So those three were the only people I didn't really want to see win. I would have loved to see
but I
anybody
would
else win.
rather Jacey win over
Oh, sure.
Marty. I'd
If-
rather
if-
Gino win over Marty.
Only because I'm terrified Jail will target Summer. I didn't want that, but
That's true.
who knows who Marty is gonna, and I actually know who Marty is gonna go for. He's going for Josh 100%. 1000%.
Josh and Betty are the two people that he is putting up. So
And if he's smart, he won't put up Josh right away. If he's smart, he won't do that.
who do you think he'd put up instead, though, then, if he's going to play Summer and Betty and then
Yeah.
put up Josh as a replacement?
Yeah. But then
I
he'd have to
mean,
make sure that noms are changed. Like, yeah, like there's a lot to play here. That's why it's so, I find it so much easier to backdoor people in the first couple of weeks. Your target doesn't need to be on the block right away. Two people that you're okay with going, sure, but your target should be the renom so that they have less of a shot at even playing in the veto.
Absolutely. Okay, hold on. Where she would say it right at the very end, right? Wait, no, where would she say it? Oh no,
she
when
said it-
Jess interview, right?
Yeah, the Jess interview. Yeah, at the end of that. Because I remember sitting there thinking, like, Jess is the last person not to make jury. That's hilarious.
Okay, I'm gonna
So
put on
Jess.
closed captioning so that like I can really see what's going down. Just because I'm gonna read exactly what's being said. Okay, so run this vote. Okay.
Did my best, having the. I'm Arisa Cox. Thank you so much for being.
Oops.
Who is the next head of? Well,
Okay, can you hear it at all or no?
As of day 2. So yeah, I fought as hard as I could. I maybe made a few mistakes, but I will always own mistakes. They're some of the best lessons learned. Well, all the love and stuff. All the love to you too.
Now that was a historic night here on Big Brother Canada. Be here on Monday to find out who is the next head of household. And then on Wednesday, it's the power of veto. And here's some news for you. Starting next week, evicted house guests will be heading to jury.
Starting next week, evicted house guests.
Yeah.
So Thursday's evicted house guests will be jury.
The first jury. Yeah. But that means 8 people. So are we going to get a Canada vote?
Or somebody will be kicked off. One of the two.
Yeah. Oh,
which has happened before.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So you guys were right. I was wrong. I misunderstood what you said, but we figured it out. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't mind Marty getting head of household. Boston girl. Sorry. Excuse me.
I don't mind if people continue to get eliminated after their HOH. So like Kyle, Jess, Marty, sure, that's fine. If Marty's up the week after, that's great. I'm okay with that.
Well, he's going to take out somebody that I don't want to go. I don't want Josh to go. I don't want Betty to go. I don't want Summer to go. So the people that I could see, those are the people that are going to go. One of those 3 people are going to be leaving this week. So that's why I definitely do not want a Marty head of household. Or I don't, Moose or Herman might end up going, but I don't think so. I think she might put up like Summer and Betty, or Summer or Betty and Moose maybe, and then have like, because then they would have Moose would maybe win the veto, and then they can put up Josh. So,
but Rat Pack would actually be in a lot of, Rat Pack would really piss off Marty if they're not going to.
They're going to keep Josh, hopefully.
If they say Josh, then it's really showing their cards. So I think Helena and Kevin have to play this week really smart with Marty, because they're on his good side.
Marty's bad. I'm mad at Kevin though, because maybe what had happened was maybe Kevin was suggesting to take out Jess or something. I'm not sure. I don't have the details. But apparently Kevin is like, Marty's wary of Kevin. He's like, so not sure what's going on there.
Helena's the only person safe again.
Oh, Betty renom. Interesting.
Yuck.
There you go. But he wants to have, I mean, it's good for his game. Betty wants him gone. Summer is throwing Moose and Herman under the bus, and I'm like, Summer, oh my gosh,
I thought she was
don't do
throwing
that.
the showmance under the bus.
As far as I heard, it was Herman.
That's fair. I mean,
He
if
made
she
it.
has to, oh, that's so crappy because they really can't. The 5 of them can't really work together this week unless they get someone
So
that's not them on the block, and they're probably all interchangeable at this point.
I thought as well that Moose and Marty made a deal, so hopefully that's not the case, that Moose goes up. But I mean, it would also just show that Marty's like, he's supposed to be a man of his word, but then things change, right? Unless he says like the 1 week was the week that Moose won the safety chain. So
Yeah.
whatevs. Maybe something changed. Yeah. I mean, Marty's gonna do whatever Marty wants to do. I don't think he's gonna be heavily influenced by anybody. But right now it's looking like one of the people out of Betty, Moose, Herman maybe not, because he kind of is trying to do like, let's keep the strong people in the house. So maybe he might be saved for that. But Josh is in hot water. Josh, Betty, Moose, hot water. So we'll see what goes down. But thank you, Jojo, for being here on an afternoon. It was fun times. Thank you for everybody in the chat for giving me the tea about the ET Canada interview. Watching that made me mad. Just got my gears. Marty told Gino today that he wants to do what's best for Gino's game. Okay.
Let's vote him out the night before, but yeah, okay, whatever you want.
Marty's the worst. Sorry,
that's best for everyone's game. Self-evict. That's best for everyone's game. 100%.
Oh man, I don't want to see that happy elf anymore. Anyways, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Jojo. If you're watching this after, who do you think that Marty is going to nominate, and who do you think his target is going to be? No spoilers, just like only honest speculation. Did you guys enjoy the safety twist? Did you think it was fun? Do you think it should be something how all the double evictions should be played? What are your thoughts here? Let us know in the comments. Like this video, please. Oh, what's our last comment here? I just love the best of it all. I mean, this will be another messy week. And I think it's going to always be a messy week as long as Kevin and Helena are in the game, because they're always trying to make something happen. And when people are trying to make things happen, that means that somebody's not going to be getting in their way. So love it. I do love this season, how much mess it actually is, and that there's actually gameplay also starting to be had as well. So happy so far. This week might be hard for some people, because I think a lot of the favorites are going to be in danger. All right. We'll see everybody on Monday, where I'll be with Sarah, and we'll be talking about the head of household and the nominations. Anyways, bye. Ciao, everybody.